Greetings, guys. It's Rob from Sage Tower Games, and I'm back with another tabletop video regarding Pathfinder and D&D. And to be honest, I was kind of gonna let some of the OGL stuff rest for a while, just until something new really broke. Like maybe if they actually made the decision on what was going on, I wasn't gonna like post on every update and every little bit of information that came out, but something did come out that I kind of wanted to go through. I briefly skimmed it, but I didn't read it in depth. I wanted to read it live, fully, in this video with you guys, and wanted to see exactly my thoughts and see what was actually said. And that is Paizo's official response to kind of what is going on with the open gaming license and the Hasbro Wizards of the Coast news. Now, if you are completely under a rock and are not aware of the tabletop world community, the TLDR version of this is that Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro has kind of wanted to find ways to monetize D&D more efficiently. And one thing they wanted to do was redo the open gaming license, which allows people to essentially take some of the underlying principles of like the D20 engine and use it how they wish. It allows people to make third-party D&D content, spin off their own system using the D20 mechanics, etc., etc. And the new verbiage used in the new OGL is really cracking down and restraining this to where it's got people in uproars. Even from this point, as long I've seen, Kobold Press has released that they're making their own OGL based roleplay system. There's also one from, I believe, Matthew Colville MCDM, I think is his company, that they're gonna make their own system as well. So many companies are already planning how to deal with this, and now we have Paizo's response, which I'm very curious to see what theirs is. So before we get into this video, if you guys do enjoy tabletop content and board game content, please be sure to hit that subscribe button. It will help the channel. And there'll be tons of tabletop and board game content coming in the near future. So with that, let's hop into this interesting article. Paizo announces system-neutral open RPG license. Woo! Okay, that's a pretty heavy title. We got the little picture of what's the name? Oh wow, I forgot. I'm drawing a blank on it. Solani? Not Solani. But for the last several weeks, as rumors of Wizards of the Coast's new version of the open gaming license began circulating, guests would have been asking what Paizo plans to do. Yeah, because Paizo obviously is heavily invested in this. We've been awaiting further information, hoping that Wizards would realize that for more than 20 years, the OGL has been a mutually beneficial license which should not and cannot be revoked. It's true, it has been a very good staple to the fact that people can use it to what they wish, as long as they don't reference too much directly off D&D. While we're continuing to await an answer from Wizards, we strongly feel that Paizo can no longer delay making our own feelings about the importance of open gaming a part of the public discussion. We believe that any interpretation that the OGL 1.0 or 1.0a were intended to be revocable or able to be deauthorized is incorrect, and with good reason. We were there. Paizo owner Lisa Stevens and Paizo president Jim Butler will lead us on the Dungeons & Dragons team at Wizards at the time. Brian Lewis, co-founder of Azora Law, the intellectual property law firm that Paizo uses, was the attorney at Wizards who came up with the legal framework for the OGL itself. Paizo had also worked very closely on OGL-related issues with Ryan Dancy, the visionary who conceived the OGL in the first place. Woo! Okay. So they have people, like, they weren't just part of it, they were in the room with this. Like, they were literally part of the people actually putting it together, some of the OGs in the OGL. Paizo does not believe that the OGL 1.0a can be deauthorized, ever. While we are prepared to argue that point in a court of law if need be, we don't want to have to do that, and we know that many of our fellow publishers are not in a position to do so. Wow, so they were willing to fight that in court. They cannot be deauthorized. Now, obviously, looking at it both sides, you're in a bit of a disadvantage. Hasbro and Wizards probably has more capital that they can definitely rack up the money on you. Paizo isn't as big, but in terms of other publishers that are kind of in the crosshairs, Paizo's probably up there as probably the biggest one that getting targeted by this. I don't think Green Ronin or Kobo Press are that close to it. We have no interest whatsoever in Wizards' new OGL. Instead, we have a plan that we believe will irrevocably and unquestionably keep alive the spirit of the open game license. As Paizo has evolved, the parts of the OGL that we ourselves value have changed. Okay. What we need to quickly bring out Pathfinder First Edition to continue publishing our popular monthly adventures back in 2008. For those that are not aware, Pathfinder originally started in the Dragon magazine, they were like these. What I've gathered, this was before my time. They were like these the D&D magazines. It was called Dragon, and the original Pathfinder based content was in then, but then they had to split it out, and that's when they quickly made it into Pathfinder and Paizo. Using Wizards language was important and expeditious. But in our non-RPG products, including our Pathfinder Tales novels, the Pathfinder Adventure card game, and others, we shifted our focus away from D&D tropes to lean harder into ideas from our own writers. Which is true, I will say that. I do feel like, at least in terms of some of the things, it's definitely a bit more different. By the time we went to work on 2nd edition, Wizards of the Coast open game content was significantly less important to us. And so our designers and developers wrote the new edition without using Wizards' copyright expressions of any game mechanics. While we still published it under the OGL, the reason was no longer to allow Paizo to use Wizards' expressions, but to allow other companies to use our expressions. And that is true. Because if you think about it, 1E and I'm gonna pop into this into full screen for a second. If you think about it for a second, 1E and D&D 5E had similar terminology for things. Free actions, bonus actions, those kind of things. Move actions, standard actions, full round actions, all this kind of stuff. But now with the 3-action system, they kind of changed how things are named. They changed a lot of the terminology. They didn't use a lot of the same expressions. They don't use advantage. They don't use inspiration and stuff like this. There's a lot of different changes that they have to the text that makes it more different, even though we know what it is. So I'm very curious about them firing this out. We believe, as we always have, that open gaming makes games better, improves profitability for all, and enriches the community of gamers who participate in this amazing hobby. And so we invite gamers from around the world to join us as we begin the next great chapter of open gaming with the release of a new open, perpetual, and irrevocable open RPG creative license, (ORC). Can I just say right now, that is a genius abbreviation. That's a genius acronym. ORC for an RPG creative license term. Beautiful. The new open RPG creative license will be built system agnostic for independent game publishers under the legal guidance of Azora law and intellectual property law, Paizo will pay for this legal work. We invite game publishers worldwide to join us in support of this system-agnostic license that allows all games to provide their own unique open rules reference documents that open up their individual game systems to the world. To join the effort and provide feedback on the drafts of this license, please sign up by using this form. We'll look at this form in a bit in case there's anything there. But what this means is, wow. Oh god, I just read the next bit. In addition to Paizo, Kobold Press, Chaosium, I don't know how you say it properly, but I know that they're the ones that make Call of Cthulhu, Green Ronin, Legendary Games, Rogue Genius Games. I can tell you right now that at least I don't know much. I don't like have a lot of all the different types, but I can tell you that Kobold Press, Green Ronin, Rogue all make tons and tons of content. And I know they all have their own systems as well. They all have, I think, Mutants and Masterminds for Green Ronin. Lots of third-party content. They are all solid publishers. And a growing list of publishers have already agreed to participate in the Open RPG Creative License. And in the coming days, we hope to expect and add substantially to this group. The ORC will not be owned by Paizo, nor will be owned by any company who makes money publishing RPGs. Azara Law's ownership of the process and stewardess should provide a safe harbor against any company being bought, sold, or changing management in the future and attempting to rescind rights or nullify sections of the license. Ultimately, we plan to find a non-profit with a history of open source values to own this license. Okay, so what they're saying here is, right now the law firm will own the kind of license until they can find someone else that can actually keep it. But what they want to do is they want to make sure that any company that makes RPGs doesn't own the license, so nobody can take the ORC and change it like Wizards is trying to do right now with your OGL. That's pretty good. Of course, Paizo plans to continue publishing Pathfinder and Starfinder, even as we move away from the OGL. Since months while the products are still at the printer, you'll see the familiar OGL 1. Yeah, I'm sure they have most of the stuff for the years probably being sent in there. In the backpack products for a while yet. While the ORC is being finalized, we'll be printing Pathfinder and Starfinder products without any license, and we'll add the finished license to those products when the new license is complete. Okay. So my only question with that is that going to put them in a weird issue where, like, if they print it with no license, is it like, I guess they're saying that they don't, because it's so far away from the original system and the OGL, that they don't have to technically print the OGL, they just do it for the sake of it. I don't know. We hope that you will continue to support Paizo and other game publishers in this difficult time for the entire hobby. You can do your part by supporting the many companies that provided content under the OGL. Support, of course. Why not do a little shilling at the end? Support Pathfinder and Starfinder by visiting your local game store, subscribing to Pathfinder and Starfinder, or taking advantage of Open Gaming 25% off your purchase of the core rulebook, the pocket edition, or the beginner box. So if you want to make the switch over to 2E, here's 25% off your purchase. That is genius. That is big brain. Support Kobold Press, Green Ronin, Legendary Games, Roll for Combat, Rogue Genius Games, and other publishers working to preserve a prosperous future for open gaming that is both perpetual and irrevocable. They also provided links to each one, which we can see. It's all different links to all the different stores, so you can definitely go and see their products as well. We'll be there at your side. You can count on us not to go back on our word. Shots fired. Let's look at this. This is if you're a game publisher, so we're not going to do anything about this. This isn't, like, obviously as a fan, we have no point in this. But you can see Kobold Press, Green Ronin stuff. Apparently, Legendary has one of these capture things to make me look at it, but they have a bunch of stuff here. Who else do we have? Rogue Genius, who takes me to Drive-Thru RPG, but tons of stuff. Wow. All right, let's hop back to the big screen. Where do we begin with this one? Okay. Wow. Pathfinder came out to play. They made their statement. They made their statement loud and clear. They're making their own system neutral license, and they are making it for everybody. And they do not give any cares about what Wizards say, and they are willing to fight. This is a great move for the hobby. Great move for Paizo. Even before Paizo made this, the amount of like explosions I could see on Twitter of people saying, oh, you know, I want to check out 2E now, 5E's, you know, D&D's, the stuff with D&D is making me a bit uneasy. Let me check out Pathfinder. And by tossing in a coupon, not only by tossing in the coupon to make it easier for people to buy the core book, but just to also say, listen, we are here for you guys. We're going to fight for you guys. And we're making something for you guys. And not just for you guys, but for all the companies that you guys know and love. Years ago, I thought Kobold Press was another company that made their own game. And until I realized that they make a lot of third-party stuff. I was like, what is this? So seeing these well-known, very popular publishers do their stuff, that is crazy. I know some other companies have made their posts. I'm not gonna read those. I only read this one because it's Paizo, Pathfinder. It's what I run. That's the only reason why. That being said, I don't know what Wizards is gonna do. I saw some leaks that they were delaying some of the news from, like, someone leaked it saying that maybe because of all the drama and they were looking at like D&D Beyond subscriptions and stuff like that. But Wizards may have just shot themselves in the foot real bad on this one. I do not know what's gonna happen. On that note, what are your thoughts on all this mess? I have to know. I know in the other video, lots of people had comments and ideas about what was going on. So I can only imagine what you guys are thinking about after this explosive post from Paizo. Let me know down in those comments. And I'll be sure to see you on my next video. Hopefully, one that does not have to do with the Open Gaming License. Thank you guys for watching.